Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Another Tuesday night with Philly Sports Talk. This is our 15th episode. I'd like to thank everyone who's tuned in for our first 15 and hopefully for our next 15 and beyond that. I'm Bobby Cash. I'm your host here with my co-host Chris Amos. Chris, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'd be doing better if the Sixers would have won last night.
Yeah, well, I think that goes for me too.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations to those guys from the Kansas City Shuffle on reaching their 50th show, and like you said, we'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, the first 15 flew by, so I agree with that one. Let's get back to the Sixers, I guess. We'll talk last night's loss and who to blame, who not to blame, and then we'll go ahead to look forward to Game 5. Last night, Joel Embiid, 0 for 12, second half. Missed a easy layup to give him the lead with 7 seconds left. That's about sums up the second half. I mean, it was missed shot after missed shot, turnovers that weren't necessary. It was just throwing the ball away, dribbling off their feet. I don't know if the crowd got to them. I don't know if the inexperience. I don't know. But it wasn't really inexperience. They've been there before, so I can't say that. It was Ben Simmons' lack of aggressiveness in the second half. I understand that he's playing defense on Trae Young. I understand that, but you got to take the ball to the basket. He has to get me at least five easy shot attempts in the second half against a team that I don't believe can defend them.
Yeah, the same thing goes for Tobias Harris. He can't become non-existent out there like he did in the fourth quarter last night. And the other thing, too, that gets frustrating, and I put the blame squarely on Doc Rivers. I know he did go out there and go 0 for 12, but then again, the timeouts that he was calling, it didn't seem like they made any difference in the game. And
right.
as much as he likes Furkan Korkmaz to be out there playing, and I know he could knock down that three, Furkan Korkmaz was a minus 13 last night in a three-point game. The man does not play defense. Now, I understand he'll hit that three-pointer every now and then, which looks great. But there was a big swing in the game. It was a big 5-point swing there in the third quarter where the Sixers, I think it was in the third quarter, they were up 18. And the man who was, the man Korkmaz was guarding had scored a 3 and then a 2, and it was all of a sudden a 13-point game, and Atlanta started their comeback.
Right, that was going to be my point exactly, that whoever he guards is who they attack with. Now, once you get an 18-point lead, Korkmaz has to sit at that point, and you have to play defense. You don't need to expand the lead anymore from there. 18 should be plenty, especially for a defensive team in the playoffs.
And especially when you see, if I'm sitting here watching on television and I see that, how is a coach that won a championship not seeing that? But then again, I think we're starting to understand why Doc Rivers is the coach of the Sixers and not the coach of the Clippers.
Exactly. I heard a Clippers fan today say, welcome to what we've been watching for the last 5 years. It's failure to make adjustments in the playoffs, failure to make the right substitutions. The first game should not have been lost. Danny Green shouldn't have been on Trae Young more than three possessions after you saw him just blow by him like he was a statue. That's enough right there. I saw it in the first quarter. You saw it in the first quarter.
Well, and the thing, too, that's frustrating is this is what Sixers fans and what we were hoping to not see by getting rid of Brett Brown.
All right.
It was the fact that Brett Brown could get you there. The team was good enough to get to the playoffs, but when it came time to make adjustments or it came time to make those set up plays at the end of games and close out teams, the Sixers always came up short, and a lot of that fell at the feet of Brett Brown. But now that should be falling at the feet of Doc Rivers, which it is.
Well, it's we talk about adjustments. You have the best the second best. I think he's the best. Simmons. They say Rudy Gobert is. You have the second best defender in the NBA. How is he not automatically on the other team's best player to start the game? Well,
Yeah,
I know we talked about this already, but
yeah, I'm still confused about that. And what you said before is it's so frustrating because if you look at that fourth quarter last night, and Atlanta's at home, Atlanta's getting energy from their crowd. This is their one big push here to finally get themselves back in this series and maybe have a huge momentum swing in the series. And Joel Embiid is struggling. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ben Simmons is a max player in this league. Ben Simmons is an all-star in this league. If Ben Simmons just can't somehow pick up, he doesn't have to turn into Joel, but he can't pick up a little bit of slack. He has to then turn into the Ben Simmons everybody wants to get rid of. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and it seems like when that's when he picks it up. When the pressure gets to him, when everybody gets on him, he shouldn't have to do that. He should have it every night. He shouldn't need to be inspired to play hard or to play better. He should bring it each and every night. He shouldn't have to score 4 one night followed by 18 the next. We need consistency.
Yeah, but like you said, you never expected me to be over 12. But
No.
the fact that he was that bad last night in the fourth quarter, he outscored Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris combined without making a shot from the floor.
Only at the foul line, exactly.
I mean, that's just I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that to me, for us to be able to be here now in the second round of the playoffs where they're playing the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this isn't the Bucks, this isn't the Nets that they're playing. For us to be able to say that, it might be a stretch, but it kind of gives you that feeling that we're looking at a team that's just letting us know, hey, we're not winning anything.
Yeah, well, if they got the path they wanted. If they can't get by Atlanta in the second round, we need big time changes in the offseason. And
that was going to be a topic I wanted to bring up.
I don't even want to get to that. I hope we never have to have that topic.
That was going to be just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
You know what?
We could do it.
Well, I look at it to the fact that I don't know how hurt Embiid is. I don't know just some of the things that I was listening today, and I can't pick this up a lot watching the game, that maybe he was trying to shoot off the other leg because of some pain that he was in,
right,
and different things. The thing too is that last shot, he missed that layup. That's not because he was hurt. I can't put a finger on how he missed that layup. But it happened, and that's where the Sixers are. And you look at it, if they lose 6 or 7 games here to the Atlanta Hawks, yeah, you're looking at a situation where I would guess the team looks completely different next year.
Yeah, and I would think it won't be Embiid. It'll probably most likely be Simmons that's shot.
Correct. And I don't know if there's a Damian Lillard out there or someone like him who would be able to come to the Sixers, because look, the same complaints that we have now about Ben Simmons, other teams are going to have the same complaints, and they're going to see the same things that we're complaining about, and they're not going to be wanting to give up someone who's not going to do what Ben Simmons is. That's frustrating.
But you may be able to get a guy like Lillard who's run his course in Portland and probably is going to request a trade. So if they could see somebody like Ben Simmons as their best return, they may take it. He still is 24 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing too is what I just said is, I look at it from the fact that if I was on another team, I'd be looking at Ben Simmons saying the same things that I'm saying now. It's frustrating, but you never know. Those teams might be like, "Oh, please give us Ben Simmons. What you think the problem is, we'll fix it."
Yeah. Taryn checks in on the message board saying the Eastern Conference Finals are between the Bucks and the Hawks, just like everyone predicted.
that was a tweet I put out last night. Boy, that sounds exciting, doesn't it?
I don't even want to think about that. Is what I told him.
And what's frustrating to me, listening to some of the other media in Philadelphia, they were discussing the fact that the national media, especially guys on TNT, Shaq Barkley, some of those guys talking. They've been talking some Philadelphia 76ers, and Shaq likes to say some things about Joel Embiid, and it's one of those things to where what happened last night, it just feeds into it, and it makes those guys look right. And it's tough as a fan because you would just like the Sixers to come out and say that's not us. We're completely different. Hey, and also after what happened in Game 1, don't give us a reminder of Game 4.
Yeah, I mean that's like you said, that's their game. That's Atlanta's game. They're going to give you all they got, and they beat us by 1 point. Now, the Sixers had the lead. They blew the lead. What's he tell them now? What's Doc Rivers telling them now?
Yeah, I don't know because
you threw everything you had at them. You took a 20-point lead on them, and you couldn't hold it.
Yeah, because that's I guess still where tomorrow night the Sixers you would hope they could get another huge double-digit lead, and as soon as Atlanta starts making a little bit of a run, which they usually do, hopefully it won't be a run all the way back to take the lead. But I don't know how fans are going to react then. And now, if the game starts off where the Sixers get to a point where it looks like Atlanta's in control of the game, the fans are going to really let the Sixers hear.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to see them go into halftime down.
No,
that would not be pretty.
No, I agree with that. That I wanted to mention here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about. We always talk. Sometimes we have that segment every now and then called the Philly Flashback, and this came to my mind today, and I was trying to think that when I was trying to think, okay, are the Philadelphia 76ers, are they missing a piece? And I don't think they're missing. When I say missing a piece, I don't think they're missing a player. I think there's just something that's not there. And what came to mind was Moses Malone back in 1983 when the Sixers made it to the playoffs, and he just said, "Fo." He said, "Listen, we're going out there, we win in every playoff game, and we win in the championship. This is our attitude." And when they lost that one game to Milwaukee, those guys took it personally. They took it personally, and they came back and they didn't lose another game, and they beat the Magic, Kareem, Lakers in 4 games, and they won the championship Game 4 in Los Angeles. And like I said, that one loss they had, they took it personal, and this team just doesn't seem like they have that in them.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen the Sixers winning back at home, but
well, then I know what you're saying then, and that was one of the questions I think they asked Dr. J that afterwards. He just said, the plan was we're winning this and not giving anybody life, and they were there. But I was really young at the time. I was only in 5th grade.
yeah, I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I always said that. I always heard that Moses Malone had said that. Well, wasn't there a foe missing? Wouldn't it have been 4 rounds? What, they only played 3 rounds then?
Yeah, correct.
So when did they go to 8 in 85? Because I don't ever remember four teams.
Yeah, we'll have to have the staff look at that, but I know that's what his comment was, and it came out that it was always the fo. And when you look back on it now and see some of the interviews and that team might be one of the top 5 basketball teams of all time.
Yeah, Maurice Cheeks, Dr. J, Moses, Andrew Toney. Andrew Toney's a guy I never got to see play either.
Right. If they have that here.
Repping the NorCal Sports, the new show on our network, checking in on our message board.
Oh, great.
I listened a little bit to her show last night. It was excellent. Welcome to the station. Says she agrees, but I don't feel that you're taking this personal, but Embiid will next game. Yeah, Embiid has to bring it all next game, absolutely. He scored 40 and 39 in the first 2 games. So, like you said, his knee, I mean, it could be hurting him, but didn't appear to be. And last night when he came to the bench, did you see that when the trainer offered the knee wrap, he shoved it away?
I did. Well, and it was one of those things listening to the post-game interview as well, where I guess there's 2 ways to take it, where it's one of those things to where, okay, well, he said it's unexcusable what happened. Well, if it's unexcusable, then how does it happen? Or you can look at it to the fact, okay, you understand it's unexcusable and you're saying it won't happen again. You can look at it both ways.
Right.
Right?
Is the staff coming along with that, the playoff?
Yeah, I'm looking here, and yes, I have it here.
What do you mean, we have a staff in the back looking at that stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know, I do. I have it here from the staff.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. It was in the first round that year in 1983 in the playoffs, in the Eastern Conference, it's New Jersey against New York.
Well, they were only 5-game series. I do remember that.
And it's actually, it was 2 out of 3 between New Jersey and New York, and the winner played Philadelphia.
Okay.
So that's what happened. The Sixers had a bye into the conference final.
Yep, I'm looking at that now. 12 teams made it, and then it was kind of like the NFL.
Yeah, they had a bye into the semifinals, and they played New York, the Knicks, who beat the Nets 2-0, and beat and then played the Boston Celtics, who ended up beating Atlanta that year 2-1, and then the Sixers ended up beating Milwaukee 4-1.
I kind of like that because it gave the regular season a little more importance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct, and it was interesting to look at these teams here. New Jersey, the New Jersey Nets, we remember them. Seattle, another team that's
the Supersonics. They played the Trailblazers, yeah.
Yep. And Phoenix and Denver, who we just saw.
Yeah.
Were in the playoffs, and even back then, San Antonio making it to the conference finals against the Lakers. Wow. In '83.
Yeah, Lakers, San Antonio. Who did San Antonio have back then? Wow,
Good question.
Terry Cummings, Artis Gilmore. They actually had like Mitchell, Johnny Moore. Not a household. George Gervin. There you go.
The Iceman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we're on the air tonight, I have the Islanders Tampa Bay game on, game 2 of the not the Eastern Conference. There's no conferences this season. of the what do we call it? The East Finals.
Yeah, I guess that's what you would call it, or just call it where the Flyers would be if they were any good.
Yeah. The Islanders took game 1 Sunday 2-1 on a defensive struggle. Tampa Bay didn't score until the last minute of the game. 52 seconds left. They scored right in point, but they couldn't get in. It couldn't get out of their own zone. Second and third periods. It's once the Islanders took the lead, it was like the old New Jersey Devils, left wing lock. They're coming out firing tonight, Tampa Bay, though.
No score early in the first period, 5 minutes in.
We got
which is an interesting series because each team kind of has a different style there. The Lightning with more of that speed style, and like you said, the Islanders, what they do is once they get a lead, they kind of try to sit on that lead and just play defense.
Yeah, like a soccer team.
Yes.
They're definitely not as talented as Tampa Bay, but they're going to try to win it that way.
And speaking of soccer, following us tonight at 9:30 will be the show on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. The show that covers soccer will be coming up at 9:30 right here on IE Sports Radio. Yeah,
the soccer scoreboard with Andrew.
Stay tuned for that after us.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be covering the Euro. Portugal won 3-0 today behind 2 goals from Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo, the all-time leading scorer in the Euro qualifier. He has 11 goals lifetime now. We don't really get to see much of him in the United States, but
yeah, we don't. And it looks like I believe it's Sunday. Which, by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers listening to us. But Sunday, I believe the Philadelphia Union pick up their schedule again. They resume play on Sunday, and they currently are in second place in their division.
And it's interesting what they do too. They'll play in other tournaments during the season. It's different. Couldn't imagine like the Eagles breaking off halfway through their season and playing against other teams from North America. It's pretty cool how they do that.
And this just happens to work out perfectly because the Union will be playing host to the Atlanta United. And that should, for those of you out there who we always talk about what we call the four major sports, and if you want to lump soccer in there to make that the fifth, because we do talk about NASCAR as well. But the Philadelphia Union have been an interesting team to follow. They are usually a playoff team, and there are a lot of good teams in the MLS. And fortunately, Philadelphia has a team they've played 8 games so far. They've won 4, and they've lost 2, and they have 14 points, and they have 2 ties in there.
Yeah, they've been competitive the last couple of years. Their coach Jim Curtin, the coach, local guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Atlanta is currently in 8th place, and the Union are in 2nd place. So another big win for Philadelphia over Atlanta, but let's not hype that up too much because you know how that's turned around here.
I'll take the basketball win over the soccer win any day.
at this point.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of basketball, we also have the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals tonight at 8:30. It looks like James Harden will be back for that game, so a little more scoring punch after losing Kyrie Irving on Sunday. This is kind of reminding me of last year's NBA, 2 years ago NBA's finals when Golden State had all the injuries and Toronto won it. It's kind of like Milwaukee they're not really the deserving winner of the series. I don't care if they win it or not. They'll win because of injuries.
Correct, and that's one thing where you'd like to see Game 5 tomorrow night with the Sixers to win that one, and then go close it out in Game 6.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. We want to see the Sixers Nets.
Correct, we do, and maybe that game will go 7. And I don't know if everybody will be healthy for the Nets. Hopefully. Nobody else gets injured on the Sixers. I mean, I know they lost Danny Green, and
I know what you want to say.
Yeah,
you want to say it's a shame, but it doesn't hurt us.
No, that's exactly where my mind goes with that. But what my other thinking is that something that's going to hurt the Sixers? And hopefully it's not.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Here in these games, it should. You're right. It should. But nice Danny Green corner 3 last night would have helped out a lot.
Furkan did hit the big 3. Furkan, he went up 109, 105. What happens next possession? Wide open 3-pointer. Was it John Collins?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think it was. I think they went up. I think they went up 99, 95. I think is what it was.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 99. Yeah. It was a 4-point lead. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get close to getting to the over, which I thought they would in the game last night.
Yeah, I think I woke my wife up when he hit that 3.
But the next, like you said, as soon as they went down the floor, there was another wide open 3, and even in situations where Embiid wasn't scoring last night, they seemed to be getting some defensive rebounds. The Sixers just couldn't turn those into points enough to be able to make that little push there late, which I was expecting them to do.
Yeah, I mean, coming down the stretch, it's all defense. It doesn't seem like they were coached. They go back to Doc Rivers, leaving guys wide open. I mean, Trae Young was also hurt last night. He wasn't shooting. He wasn't himself. He was feeling his right shoulder.
Yeah, he even said he didn't tell Nate McMillan before the game that his shoulder was hurt, thinking he might either play him less minutes or maybe not play him at all.
And you know how I knew it? When he missed the 2 foul shots. I said, he doesn't miss 2 foul shots. Something's wrong with him.
No, and it was an interesting thing too watching the game last night, and it's like he was sitting there with an iceberg on his shoulder, and the announcers kind of they were showing those pictures, and it was just like it was no big deal, but it ended up not being a big deal for them because they won the game.
Yeah, they won the game, and Embiid did have 21 rebounds. It wasn't his worst game overall. It was his worst offensive game I think I've ever seen him play. But on the defensive end, he still did get 21 rebounds. That's his playoff career high, I believe.
Right, and I guess what the frustrating thing is when he went out in got injured in the Wizards series.
Mm-hmm.
It was a situation where the team, had to fall back on what they had to do 20-some plus games throughout the regular season to play without Embiid. Those guys had to step up, play, and win the game. And all last night was a simple fact, okay, you have him out there. He's clogging up the middle, playing some defense. He's getting some rebounds. Now you're in a situation where you're kind of falling back into that, having to play without him on offense. And it wasn't like for the whole game. It was for one quarter, and they couldn't do it. Now, hopefully that's one of those things to where after Game 6 we're looking back and we're saying, okay, well, what happened in Game 1 and Game 4 is no big deal because they won the series. Let's look forward to either Milwaukee or Brooklyn. But it was just frustrating because these guys have played enough without Embiid carrying them this year and have won important games where he wasn't the guy on the floor. And even and like I said, like you said, they had him out there rebounding last night. Yeah. So it just an absolutely frustrating day as a Philadelphia fan. Even on Twitter, I had a picture of my 3 Sixers hats was on Twitter. I changed that now. I'm angry.
You change it to popcorn? Fans throwing popcorn? No, I'm just kidding. We had a roast before the game on the message board, and I didn't realize it was a roast, and I'm on there defending Philadelphia fans.
For anybody out there who has ever read the King Killer Chronicles, it is one of the main villains in the story called PHILLIES. That will come down. I just have that up there because that's my little way of showing some frustration with what took place with the Sixers, and also I'm as frustrated as can be with the Phillies as well, even though they did play well on this last home.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up a little later. Tampa Bay's on the board. They score the first goal here in the first period.
That's big for them tonight.
Yeah, and right away the Islanders get a penalty call. So Tampa Bay's has to go kill a penalty now.
Oh, well, that doesn't help.
No. What a save by Vasilevsky. Yeah, the Phillies. I'm not fooled at all by this little stretch.
No.
I see a lot of excitement on Twitter here and there. And I don't know. The Phillies don't do anything for me.
All you have to know is who is the closer?
Hector Neris.
That's all you
the worst closer in the history of baseball. Over this long of a period?
I have the picture saved because it was all over Twitter I guess that was on Saturday, if you believe save, and the ball landed next to a guy wearing a Phillies shirt out in left field, and he had the double middle finger. But that was one of those situations too where I'm surprised there's a handful of people who are usually on Twitter, but it's nothing like it used to be. Back even on Twitter or back when the Phillies used to have their own message board on their own website back before Twitter was as popular as it is. I guess people just check out or it's just like not one of those things they do like a lot of tweeting during the games. But once Hector Neris came in, everyone's like, well, we know where this is. Okay, I guess the Phillies are going to have to bat again.
Yeah, I mean it's the excitement's not there. That's why you don't see this many people. And they have Bryce Harper, but that's it. They don't have they don't have that lights out pitcher. They don't have that big closer. They don't have any the Jimmy Rollins type player. They're just a boring team.
Yeah, I mean Wheeler's turning into that pitcher, but Wheeler, even though he is one of the better pitchers in baseball right now, like you said, he doesn't have that person.
No, he hasn't done it for years either. He's 30 years old, and he's had a lot of injuries in his career. He doesn't have the pedigree of a Max Scherzer.
Correct. And when you look at the Phillies right now, and you look at the team who's sitting right now in Los Angeles getting ready to play the Dodgers tonight, and you think, okay, well, who is the most exciting player on the team? It might be Luke Williams.
I was going to say that. A little spark from Luke Williams last week. He hasn't played much since, though.
No, he's starting at shortstop tonight.
Is he?
Yes, I guess they're looking at a situation now where Didi Gregorius probably will not be back.
It's that bad?
That is, yeah. It's because it's been one. I could be wrong, but it looks like it's going to be a lingering thing. I don't know if it's going to have to go to surgery or not. If it goes to surgery, he probably won't be back because he's been trying to rehab that in Lehigh Valley here for a while, and it just keeps being one setback after another.
He's going to move in with Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Oh, I hope not, because if that happens, where's that? The Bermuda Triangle?
Wow, are you watching the Islanders defensive player and a Tampa Bay guy just went into the net? That was crazy. They knocked the net off. The goalie Varlamov looks like he's hurt. What a crazy play in the Tampa game.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put that.
Yeah, you have to tune into that. I think they're gonna call a penalty on Tampa Bay. He was thrown into the net. Braden Point. He was pushed. Yeah, he was pushed into the goaltender. Absolutely. 2 hands on his back, pushed into the goaltender, and they're going to call the penalty on him. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't get into a sport like this that calls things like that.
Well, the NBA's kind of turned into that a little bit too, where my goodness, they're trying to find a flagrant foul on almost every.
Yeah, I know. With the intent, the wind up, this, that. When it's a flagrant foul, you know it's a flagrant foul. I thought, the Ben Simmons one was. That's ridiculous. That's just a good hard foul.
I agree, and I thought it was absolutely foolish what Jokic did the other night in the game against the Suns, but I don't think it should have gone as far as to have him get ejected from the game.
Right. All right.
Not that the Nuggets were winning that game with or without him.
The Suns have been impressive. I'll give them that. I did not see them going this far this easily. They've won 8 out of 9 games in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the one thing, Cash, I had to give you credit for, and you convinced me of it early on, because it made a lot of sense too, was the fact that the Utah Jazz are not a team that's built for the playoffs the way that they play, and that the Clippers will be the team facing the Suns in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and another thing that I was looking at today, the 7 teams remaining in the NBA, who was the last to win the title?
Oh boy, let me think. Out of those 7 teams that are left,
yeah, Utah, the Clippers, the Bucks, the Nets, the Hawks. Who didn't I name?
Yeah, the Sixers.
Your team, your town, your 76ers, 1983. So no team has won it in the last 38 years, and I think a couple of them haven't won it at all. Utah hasn't won it. Atlanta, I don't believe has won it.
No,
unless
Phoenix never won it.
Mm.
The Clippers have never even been to the Western Conference Finals.
Well, they were from San Diego, so nah.
That franchise has never been to the Western Conference Finals,
wow.
Which is amazing.
All the good teams they've had.
Yeah, because and that's the thing too. When you go back and if you go back and you look at the teams that have won NBA championships, I mean, there's not. It hasn't been spread around like in other sports.
It's been the Lakers and the Celtics.
Yeah, you had the Heat came in there, and you had the Mavericks the one year, and the Golden State Warriors, but they had a long run. Cleveland had that one win, and other than that, it's been a lot of the same teams that have been there.
You watching the hockey game?
I am. I have it on right now.
That's the worst call I've ever seen in my life. They're calling goalie interference on a guy that was pushed with 2 hands into the net. That should be a definite replay. You should be able to challenge it like every other sport. No, the Islander score here. It's a total joke.
Yeah, they don't allow. They allow you to challenge some things in hockey. You can challenge the offside.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's one thing too.
And they scored.
They did score.
What a joke!
That didn't take long.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we could do a whole show on that topic there of challenging stuff in sports, because it gets frustrating. Where it's well, we can't challenge this. What are you talking about? If you can go look at it on the replay, why can't you challenge it?
Right. all the fans watching at home saw that wasn't a penalty, and it was a giveaway. That's all Tampa Bay does is give the puck away. They put it right on the stick. Goalie never had a chance. I don't think.
They will have to dig down now and come back.
Yeah.
They certainly don't want to fall behind once again to the Islanders.
Yeah.
But you talk about officiating. I don't know if you were up last night watching the Phillies game, but I don't think the Phillies were going to win that game last night. It was 3-1, but the home plate umpire on numerous times, one with Spencer Howard at bat. I mean, Spencer Howard was trying to bunt the ball, and there was a runner on. There was runners on first and second with one out. He was trying to bunt the ball, and the pitcher threw 7 straight balls to him. Okay, but the umpire called 3 of them strikes. It was unbelievable. I mean, and it wasn't like they were just missing the box. They were completely missing the box to the fact to where that the Phillies announcers were saying this is just awful. But then you went back to the next inning. Spencer Howard came out to pitch, and he wasn't getting those calls.
How did the guy after Howard pitch, the guy they called up for the game? I didn't see it.
He did not give up any runs. His first inning, he came in and pitched really well, and I believe he gave up. It was either double or a triple, but the runner was stranded at third. So, yeah, what was that guy? Yeah, the guy has his name's escaping me right now.
I don't know either. I'm on Tampa Bay's Twitter right now. That was the worst call I've ever seen. The roof should be blown off with pissed off fans. What the F was that? Shouldn't have been a power play. Worst call I've ever seen. Isles fans saying that was an awful call, and I'm sorry that happened. The officiating in these playoff games has been truly shameful. It is. It's a joke. I've lost all respect for the sport. The game shouldn't be tied.
Well, and if you're looking right now, for those out there who are watching along with us, what you see Tampa Bay having to take their frustrations out now. Yeah. I mean, hockey allows this, but my goodness, yeah, you're right. Stuff like that can just completely change.
Another penalty on Tampa Bay.
The course of a series, yeah. And they're going to be the Islanders are going to be on the power play once again.
What a joke. It's 8:40 here on the East Coast. I think it's time we take a break.
We'll have some commercials coming up, and before we hit the commercials, for those of you who have listened to us before and who follow along with us here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all the sports, a lot of the shows mention the Southern California Warriors. The Southern California Warriors are they're a semi-pro football team. And the world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organization. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's paying to play to get filmed for professional tryouts, or to get filmed for big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. But no matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common. That's the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players a second chance since 2017. So whether you are in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you are someone who loves sports. Maybe you'll get the second chance you've been looking for, or if you know someone who needs that second chance, have them check out semi-pro sports. And the best place to go right now is to check out the Southern California Warriors, where you can check them out at SoCal Warriors on Twitter, or at Southern California _Warriors on Facebook, or go to the Twitter for IE Sports Radio, or Instagram for IE Sports Radio, and check out the Southern California Warriors. You are listening here to Philly Sports Talk with Cassie Chris on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that sports, and we will be back in a few minutes.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back. Thanks everyone for listening, and thanks everyone on our chat board. It's 8:46 on the East Coast. We've got about 15 minutes left. And before we went to commercial, Taylor on the chat board posted a question. If you had to live without women or sports, which would you pick? I like to post that as our poll for next week. I'll say no comment on that one. We don't know who's listening.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at that. Just plead the fifth. I mean,
Well, we pretty much did have to live without sports for the last year.
yeah, I had made with the COVID situation and what had gone on, and it was one of those things too when sports finally came back and baseball started up. It was always that comment, boy, things are better when the Phillies aren't playing. Some of what was going on last year with the team. And the guy who came in last night pitched 3 scoreless innings for the Phillies, who they just recalled from the minor leagues. He was up with the team earlier this year when they were in Colorado. His name is Bailey Falter. I apologize for getting that name. But on the Phillies, a guy whose last name is Falter should not be forgotten.
That's I never heard of him before. I mean, usually I'm up with the prospects, and that's a name that got by me.
Well, they brought him up now just because he was pitching so well for the Iron Pigs that it was like, why can't he be? Well, if he's pitching this well, the bullpen needs help. Let's bring him up. And he got in the game last night, and he pitched 3 scoreless innings. So hopefully, it's going to be a situation where he looks like he's going to be another Ranger Suarez, and hopefully Ranger can keep doing what he's been doing, and that bullpen can get a little bit more solid. It's just the only problem is you have the worst guy possible in the closer role, and you have a manager who doesn't want to move it.
I actually saw Ranger Suarez the other night pitch for the first time in a while, and of course I see him give up his first run. He wasn't happy either.
No, that was a blue pitch
Yep.
Yankees game.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was the longest scoreless streak in baseball.
it was. Yeah, he's been doing well this season. I mean, he was a left-hander that he didn't pitch much last year for the Phillies. I think he had some injuries. Gabe Kapler was a big fan of his, but Gabe Kapler overused him in 2019, and he kind of got a little bit exposed. He's a guy.
Yeah, it looks like he lost a little weight, got in shape a little bit.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys to where you're looking at it. Okay, he's a good left-hander. I just think he's gonna run into some problems coming up. He doesn't throw hard enough. But hopefully, I'm wrong.
I mean, he's a guy that we bashed early in the year, saying when he comes in the game, automatic run, and he didn't give up a run for the whole season up till Sunday.
That's exactly what I said. Because as soon as he comes in, the first 2 batters are going to get hit.
Yep.
He can put a run on the board.
Yeah.
But the Phillies figured out a way to fill in that role. That's Jose Alvarez now.
Yeah.
He does that. So
You mean
that's what
not
happened.
Jose Alvarez? He was on the team last year.
Alvarado.
Well, yeah.
Alvarado.
And I think in that same conversation, I said that I was excited about Alvarado, and it's about time we got a guy like this.
Well, speaking of throw strikes,
Yeah, he has no control. I think that's what I know. Like we said earlier, that's why Tampa gave up on him.
yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah.
And what we need to do now is we need to take a minute and we need to just bash Reese Hoskins as much as we can to get him going because he's in an 0 for 30 right now. 0 for 30 and you're still in the lineup only in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean they say you got to let him hit out of it. That's always been the
Well, and the thing too, last night he came up in an important situation. Bryce Harper had gotten on base in front of him with 1 out, and the Dodgers switched pitchers, and the guy came in through 1 pitch, and guess what happened? Ground ball, double play.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're struggling, those things are going to happen. But you would think you could give somebody a break. I mean, the Phillies have a situation now where they have Alex Bones who can play first base. They have Luke Williams on the team who can play third base. They also have JT Realmuto who for a game or 2 can play first base and you can catch Andrew Knapp.
Sorry, working on some sound issues again. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't change anything. I'm trying to tell the guys on the board. You're back to being low again.
I didn't either.
I know. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left.
It's the Russian hackers who are getting into our sound.
Yeah, they want to ruin our show, bring us down. So we're going to Nashville this week. You informed me during the break.
Nashville it is for a 3:30 race.
Okay.
And should be an interesting race once again this weekend. When it was last week as well. Denny Hamlin still leading in the points, barely leading in the points, and
despite not winning a race. Exactly. That's crazy. You would think Kyle Larson would be leading in the points.
I think Kyle's 47 points behind, which means he's basically in a tie with him.
Yeah. And the point standings really don't mean anything. The top four gets decided in the final race anyway. As long as you're in the top four, it doesn't matter if you're 1,000 points behind.
Yeah, it's like in hockey where they put a banner up for you in the President's Trophy. Well, okay, if you're not putting the Stanley Cup one up beside it, what difference does it make?
Right. I watched the race over the weekend, the All-Star race. I watched the Texas race, and the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series. Pretty good track. You saw, a little more passing than usual. Larson was just, he was pretty much not there the whole race, and then very end, here he comes. You thought William Byron was going to take it. But Larson and the Hendrick cars have been unbelievable this year, the last month especially. They've been unbeatable.
Well, you're exactly right, and it's been very impressive. And I was going to make kind of a joke here, but you know what would kill Kyle Larson at this point?
What would kill him?
Yeah, well, what would cause him to not be successful would be
iRacing.
Go ahead, you were going to say it.
iRacing.
Well, no, I was making the joke. Is if you picked him.
If I pick him,
Yeah.
I don't know who to pick in Nashville. I don't think this is their first time racing there, right?
I'm trying to think. I believe you're right.
I think they said it's a new track, so I'll go with Kyle Larson this week.
Yes.
Continue his hot streak. He's pretty much the hottest driver out there, and he can't get a sponsor. I mean, we know why, but come on, it's been long enough.
Yeah, that's going to have to change. I believe, and I think we will see that change.
But I think major companies are afraid to. I think a company like Budweiser, Busch, they don't want to put their name on his car because they would be accused of being a racist company. I guess. I mean,
yeah,
touchy subject.
It is, and to me, it's just foolishness at this point. But you're right. Trying to be politically correct.
Yeah.
Is not all. Sometimes trying to be politically correct doesn't make things better; it makes things worse.
Yeah.
And that's about all I have to say on that subject.
Yep.
I don't know. This week was it being a new track, and I don't know. I mean, I guess Larson would be the favorite. You would think Brad Keselowski would be able to run well there, but it could be some guy who we least expect. It could be Kurt Busch as well.
Yeah, Kurt Busch. He usually sprinkles a win in each season. He gets a race you wouldn't think, and averages about one win per year.
True, and I'm gonna go with him to win this one.
Wow, that would be a great pick. I'm sure he's going to be like 50-1.
Yeah, probably even more than that. Yeah. And I'm sure he's tuning in right now, listening to us, and he's giving the thumbs up.
Definitely
for the pick, and he's going to go out there and he'll be on the pole to start the race, or at least be up near the front and have a strong car, and hopefully this will be that win of his this year because I picked him. We'll see how that goes.
Well, I should just move to Vegas and be an odds maker because he is 50-1.
Oh, you got it right on. There you go.
Yeah, the favorite is Kyle Larson plus 275. Martin Truex is second plus 650. Chase Elliott plus 700. Denny Hamlin plus 850. Kyle Busch plus 900. William Byron plus 1,200. Tied with Keselowski and Harvick. Wow, Harvick's had a horrible season.
Yeah, him and Logano have not been themselves this year.
He's next in the odds. Logano, he's 13-1.
Yeah, I figured he'd be down a little bit as well. Yeah, that's a nice Sunday afternoon race there. I'm trying to think what the schedule is for the Sixers. Is it tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday, if need be?
I'll pull that up right now.
Yeah.
I believe they did say it's every 2 days for the rest of the series.
If the Sixers are playing on Sunday, we have a problem.
Well, at least it's home. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, because I'm looking at that Saturday. I don't know if they put them in. I mean, I'm sorry, on Sunday. I don't know if they put that as a primetime game or not.
Might be the only game.
True.
Yeah, they're playing tomorrow at 7:30 and Friday at 7:30. Sunday's not out yet.
Yeah, because the Phillies will be playing the Giants. I believe would be Sunday afternoon as well. So that's probably would be a 4:00 game during the race.
Well, I wouldn't know who to watch there. I'm just kidding.
Well,
the Bucks lead the Nets 22-10 in the first quarter. Brooklyn just having all kinds of trouble scoring.
Well, if this turns into the game that last night, then I'm getting an 18-point lead, and then you'll be able to turn it around quickly.
Yeah, but I see Harden out. I mean, I see Durant. I don't see Harden.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it is 2 minutes to go. He might be on the bench. Yeah, he has 1 assist. Let me see how many minutes. He played 9 minutes, 0 points.
Yeah, and before we get off here, where we do touch on the Phillies here, but they have 2 more games in Los Angeles, and they have 3 games coming up over the weekend with the Giants. How many of those games do they win?
1.
1, because they have Eflin tonight, Wheeler tomorrow, and then they have Nola on Friday.
Yeah,
so
they'll win 1 game, probably like 2-1.
The interesting game would be tomorrow's game, where it's Wheeler Kershaw.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe steal one. Maybe it's going to be a low-scoring game. They're not going to go out there and score a lot of runs on the West Coast.
No, and those 2 teams are 2 of the best teams in baseball that they're playing. And even though the Dodgers are missing some key players on offense right now, their pitching was good enough to handle the Phillies last night. Hopefully, that won't be the case tonight. And
Phillies lost the game, giving up 3 hits last night. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Spencer Howard came out of the game, and he'd only given up 2 hits, but he gave up 3 runs. There's 2 of them left the ballpark.
Right, the long ball hurt them last night.
Yeah, Zach Eflin on the mound tonight. Hopefully, he'll be able to repeat what he did his last start. He's usually pretty good at home, and he pitches pretty decent against Atlanta. This is a tough spot for him.
Who's on the mound for the Dodgers tonight? They're a big favorite.
Oh, huge favorite.
Who's throwing?
I don't even know.
It's not Trevor Bauer, right? Because they said we missed Bauer.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Because I looked at it earlier. I didn't recognize the name of who they're throwing tonight. It's nobody, like I said, who would stick in your mind.
All right.
And let me see if they have that here. Awesome. Come on, staff. Send it to me. That would be pitching tonight for the Dodgers would be Julio Urias.
Oh, okay.
So.
Just a tough spot, traveling out to the West Coast and not getting that Monday off and having to play last night and then having to play another game tonight. The Phillies are still on the East Coast clock.
Yeah, true. And the thing about it is, what we've witnessed with them recently is the fact they just do not play well on the road, and it is frustrating. It is frustrating.
They can't hit on the road. That's just
and then what you saw last time, they came off that long road trip, and it carried over to Game 1 of the homestand. Now they did turn it around at home and ended that homestand 6-2, which was very good against Washington, Atlanta, and New York.
Yeah, they're a good home team. They look like a baseball team at home.
Until Neris takes them out.
Yeah.
Where they have to have. Well, it's 2 of those games he blew the save, and fortunately he didn't blow it to the point to where the other team took the lead, and that the Phillies were able to win it in extra innings, taking advantage of that rule with the runner on second base.
Yeah, which I hope they do away with. Joe Torre was in the box the other day. He said they're going to look at that.
Yeah, the only thing that I think is going to possibly keep that in, and why I think teams might want that to stay in. We're not having games going into the 16th and 17th inning.
If it does, it does. I mean, that's baseball.
Right. That's been baseball forever.
Yeah.
And that's just been one of those things, too, where it's like, well, then we got to go into having position players, pitching, all that stuff. Well, how about if you just have guys who number one, can score a run conventionally, and number two, how about you have teams where guys can come in and get people out?
Yeah. I mean, the only rule I do like that they've added is that they have to face 3 batters. I kind of like that rule. A pitcher has to face 3 batters. Takes away from that, 3 substitutions in 1 inning. Because that's why teams had no pitchers left when they went to 16 innings, because they were using 3 guys, a righty to pitch to a righty, and a lefty, and back to a righty in the same inning.
Correct. And it's one of those things to where it kind of eliminated a little bit of the strategy in games, but it was also a little bit of a competitive balance, because if a guy could dominate one guy over the course of like a season or his career or something, you could just save him for that guy,
right?
And that's taken out of it right now.
Right. Milwaukee leads the Nets by 14 with 6 seconds left in the first.
Well, if you look right now at that series, and you look at the one in the West, teams with a 2-0 lead who started off winning both their home games weren't able to go on the road and win. Fortunately, the Sixers, who lost one at home, were able to go and win one in Atlanta, and now we just have that old school 2 out of 3.
Exactly, and you're home for 2 out of 3. So you got everything. It's all lined up. Even though we lost the 2 games, you're in position. There's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse not to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And we'll find out next week. We'll be on. It'll be decided by the time we're on the air. So.
And the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 will be in Philadelphia unless something tragic happens.
Yep, and I'm either going to be on the air next week playing the Sixers song to open the show, or I'm not going to be happy.
Or it's going to be taps.
Yeah. Either way, you're going to hear one of them.
Yeah, it's going to be sad. Guys, thanks a lot for listening to us tonight.
Yep.
Listening to Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris right here on IE Sports Radio. IE Sports Radio has been around for 7 years, and they're still going strong. Your direct feed for all the sports. Make sure you guys check out the Southern California Warriors. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on Twitter. Check them out on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, it's Southern California _Warriors. If you go to Instagram, if you go to IE Sports Radio, check out the Southern California Warriors. Make sure you guys support semi-pro sports. Cash and I support semi-pro sports. Make sure you guys check it out and do the same. Yep. And hopefully next week we'll have a better attitude regarding the Sixers.
Yes. And thanks to everyone who joined us on the chat board and listened to our broadcast live. You can also listen to our podcast on Apple and Spreaker.com.
Yep, check us out on Twitter. We're always open for whatever you guys have to say, whether it's positive towards our comments or negative. We look forward to hearing from you.
You got it.
See you guys.
Good night, everybody.